Final ending of turning it around, other parts down below. For the record, she does give me rent money to stay under my roof. She's not paying me with bonding, nor have I ever once said or implied that she had to put out or leave. She knows she's under no perceived obligation. She sleeps with me because she's trying to win me back and she wants to. She says she feels now that she has an emotional connection with me and wishes to express it. Whether that's true is another story. I already have a family portrait hanging on the wall and plenty of photos of us together throughout my house. Didn't really stop her from inviting the other man to sleep over while I was away. That's the part I just don't get. She had zero guilt doing this to me for 6 months, coming home every night asking me what's for dinner. Now, I'm supposed to believe she feels badly. I don't get the mentality of a heartless cheater. Still, blows my mind. Some people just seem wired to do very bad things and just put them out of their head and forget about it. It's so strange to me. I'd take all of the pictures with both of us in them down. Did that a while ago. She noticed but never made a comment. She had a really bad childhood. Not a justification but just a fact. Abandonment, ex-abuse, attempted ex, the whole 9 yards. She carries around a ton of emotional baggage. Her only defense mechanism, besides lying, is to shut off her feelings and emotions because if she doesn't, they come pouring out and she cries uncontrollably. That's how I think she could be so cruel during the affair. Because she has that ability, fine-tuned since childhood. I wear my heart on my sleeve. I could never carry around the amount of guilt and shame she has for so long. And it wasn't even just apathy towards me. She even tuned out my kids' feelings. She's never been formally diagnosed with anything. At the very least she has depression. Probably a lot more than that. Do I think something isn't right with her? No doubt in my mind. So far so good. She has been working on her healing since she asked for reconciliation almost 4 weeks ago. Right now, I can see she has a broken heart from the other man and has been grieving the loss of the affair. Towards the end, she became very heavily emotionally vested in the Prince Charming the other man portrayed himself to be. To her it was a trusting relationship and he threw her under the bus. She now knows he used her and lied to her. I can see that hurts her. Personally, I think she's an idiot forever trusting a man who cheats on his pregnant wife, but I guess that's why it's called a fog. It seems like the fog has lifted for her. I know she is sorry for the pain she caused me. She tells me she loves me, but I can tell the depression sometimes impedes her affection towards me. She wants to be in a relationship with me, but that intangible euphoria, lust, desire, whatever you want to call it, isn't there. After detaching from me for so long, it will take time to come back if it ever does. I was after all dead to her emotionally. She's clearly a very broken person. She also continues to be transparent. I've been checking my intel and so far, she's clean. I have multiple sources to check up on her with that she's completely unaware. I'm pretty confident there has been no contact with the other man. She is looking for another job and has a few leads for interviews she's working on. She continues to go to counseling and church. We discussed her moving out again. She seems on board with the idea. I would like it to happen after the holidays, as part of her fixing herself and breaking the codependency bond we have with each other. It will likely become a dating situation and seeing what happens, but at least with her out of the house I may be able to think clearly and we can work more on fixing ourselves. I hope she is able to get out of that toxic work environment before then. I don't know if I can forgive her or trust her ever again. I would like to, but how? She knowingly betrayed me, humiliated me, disrespected me, and destroyed our family just so she could be happy with someone else. Completely selfish. Now, after everything she took for granted, she wants a do-over. She would have dumped me if OM was the real deal. I was her plan B. At this point, I'd almost rather move on and find someone else who will truly love me and be faithful to me. Seems like a daunting task and it scares the hell out of me. I'm trying to gently get her out of the house. Watching her grieve the loss of her OM, while pretending to still be interested in me, is a special kind of hell. Once she leaves the house and I'm not around her anymore, then I will careless what she does. Out of sight, out of mind. Well, got my ex to confess to another tonight. Apparently, she claims she was emailing, using her work email, Facebooking and texting the same ex-boyfriend I caught her having an EA with in 2017. This happened in 2021 and I guess it went on for 6 months on and off. She claims he reached out to her when he broke up with his girlfriend and he stopped it when he found another girlfriend. I asked her if she met up with him. She said she tried to set up a meeting but he made up excuses why he couldn't. I don't even know if I believe that they never met in person. I have no way of proving it now because of how long ago it was. I know it doesn't matter now since we're divorced, but what is surprising me is how it is not bothering me as I thought it would. At this point, I'm really just not surprised anymore. How could we have ever made this marriage work when she never gave it a chance? She never took our martial commitment seriously at all. This is just another slap in the face. It is depressing. I mean, how could I be so wrong about someone? Why marry me if you're still going to shop around behind my back? Why continue to use me like this? I started this thread pissed as hell. Now I'm just sad and depressed all the time. Only thing she has really done is rug sweep, ignore the elephant in the room and get annoyed with my questions. Her new thing is claiming I'm just looking for reasons not to want to reconcile. I really don't think I do. It seems to just get worse and worse. She just doesn't want to face her demons. I told my spouse I had software that could download deleted texts from her iPhone. I lied, but she bought it. She just confessed she had an ons with her ex-boyfriend in a hotel in early 2021. It wasn't just an EA, just more trickle truth. So that's 2 PAs now she's had in the last 3 years. I'm just so disgusted I'm at a loss for words. I'm so done. She's still sobbing uncontrollably in the other room as I type this. I asked her why. She said she still had unresolved feelings for him. She dumped him for me 10 years ago. Are you kidding me? And she still can't get over him. It's just one excuse after another. She's so broken it's beyond belief. I'm just starting to think she's nuts. Do I still care about her and are my feelings hurt? Of course, but she has to leave the house. I know this now for certain. There is no way around it. Only then can I truly start to detach. She will be moving out. I'm as certain of that as I was in divorcing her. I can't save this relationship anymore. She's too screwed up in the head. She's still begging me to work it out, but there's no way. How can I stand for this? Our marriage was a complete fallacy. On what planet would a married woman think it was okay to have full-blown relationships, her words, with other men behind her husband's back? The original affair was bad enough, but sleeping with multiple people. This is just too much. I feel like my head is going to explode. Never in a million years did I expect this. I can't believe how selfish she is. I feel disgusted, humiliated, embarrassed, ashamed, betrayed, used, angry, and I feel sad for my children. She just threw me and the kids away because we were an inconvenience to her. I was married to a W with no conscience. Just tell her you care about her and she drops her panties. It's literally that easy. I can't believe how stupid she is. Both guys used her, then dumped her. That's what she ruined our family for. I'm really a mess, but at this point it's just beating at air. Finding out about the first EA 6 years ago broke my heart. Finding out about this PA 3 months ago ripped it out of my chest. Now with news of this second PA, I feel like I have nothing left to give. I'm already emotionally drained and empty inside. I've already decided to let go. I don't really have a choice. What's the alternative? More of this. How could I ever trust her? She's more obsessed than ever to try to make it work. It's almost like the more truth that's exposed, the more horrible she feels. Not because she did those things, mind you, but because I now know she did them, and the more desperate she becomes to work things out. In her twisted mind, she wanted to fool around with these men. She just didn't want to find out about it because it would hurt me. Her mental mantra is, as long as I don't find out, then it's okay to be bad. Amazing now, how badly she wants something that just 3 short months ago she had no problem throwing away and taking for granted. Now she wants her family after the OM tosses her under the bus. I've lost 50 pounds myself. She's almost 40 but has the emotional maturity of a teenager apparently. I don't know exactly when it happened, but she's probably been living with the scars of her abuse for 25 to 30 years now. I don't think she'll ever change. I think she wants to. Nobody wants to be a horrible person. They just can't help themselves, and is just trying to fake it till she makes it. Nobody has an epiphany and wakes up with morals. I just found out 3 days ago my ex got promoted from cheater to serial cheater, and they weren't just flinging. She's been shopping around for a new man for quite some time now. That's not supposed to bother me. I already know what I have to do with regard to her. This is one of those open and shut cases. Not much gray area here. After telling me everything I wanted to hear, and I knew that's what she was doing, 3 days later she's back to her old tricks, blame shifting, question dodging, etc. Had a huge blowout fight last night. Called each other a bunch of names. Not really talking to each other now. Didn't take long for her to give up trying. Not that I would even entertain ever taking her back at this point, but I do enjoy watching her beg. She's the serial cheater, but apparently, I'm partly to blame for it. Really, because honestly, I don't give a crap how inattentive she felt I was to her, because I felt the same way too. So that somehow validates or excuses doing what you did. She treated me like dog crap. Especially while the affairs were going on, so why didn't I go do the same thing? Oh yeah, cause I'm not a boss looking for excuses to justify my selfish behavior. Flat out said if I did that to her then she would hate me. Guess that's why she didn't tell me she was screwing around. It's okay for her to get some side action, but not me. I guess she had no choice but to cheat and not tell me. It all makes sense now. She's convinced herself that I have horrible to her. Lie. That I never cared about her. Lie. That she was this amazing wife and mom. Lie. That our marriage was in the gutter. Lie. It wasn't perfect, but it was far from being what she makes it out to be in her twisted head. If it was in the gutter, it was because she threw it there. More pathetic self-rationalization so she can look herself in the mirror in the morning. I'm such an awful person, yet A, she could have left anytime she wanted to, and B, now she wants to work it out. I don't know folks, but how bad could I be if she was willing to keep me around as plan B? Sorry, need to vent, and yes, I know she needs to go. I'm working on it. Last part I said, would you consider yourself a serial cheater? And she says, no, because I only cheated on you. Awesome. It's stupid to keep rehashing, but I know it's me. I'm the one who keeps wanting to talk about it. I'm still shocked and angry to find out she was capable of this kind of cruelty. That her wedding vows meant so little to her and so much to me. I keep expecting to wake up from a nightmare. Talking about it is the only thing that keeps me from punching holes in the walls of my house. She sits there most of the time silent. I ask her questions. She never has any answers. I just can't believe she did this to me. I'm definitely far from over it. If it were up to her, she would rug sweep the whole thing and never speak of it again. She's been carrying this around so long it doesn't even faze her. After all, why should she be upset? I'm the one who got screwed over. I'm the one who was used. No one betrayed her. I really don't think she understands the gravity of her actions. Like I'm just supposed to get over this quickly. I know she didn't want to purposely hurt me, but being selfish was more important to her than me. Plus, she never expected me to find out either, so what's the harm, right? I'm just completely blown away. I will never reconcile with her. She disgusts me. I just want to cleanly cut ties. She was weak and the temptation was too great. Opportunity presented itself. She wanted to do it, so she did it, regardless of the repercussions, which was the only thing that would stop her. So, she lied. She put the guilt of our family right out of her head by rationalizing that I would never find out. Therefore, no harm would come to us and she could satisfy her selfish desires with impunity. Repercussions are now gone, therefore there's nothing to stop her from continuing to do it. The more she did it, the easier it became and the more brazen she was about it. It almost became normal for her. You just have to mentally be in a very dark, evil place to behave like a cheater. I hope I'm never in a place like that in my lifetime. I know way more than I need to. I need to stop asking her why she did it. Does it really matter? I don't even think she knows why she did it. She agrees it was selfish and wrong. All I'm doing is rehashing it over and over and hurting myself. I'm going to make a conscious attempt to stop. I'm just still blown away that someone would flush their beautiful family down the drain. I guess some people are just broken. Update, told the ex I want her out by January. She agrees the best thing would be for her to leave. She says she wants to do it so she can become a stronger, independent person. She has no intention of dating anyone and just wants to be on her own to sort out her feelings. She wants to get a part-time job too to keep busy. Whatever lie she has to tell herself to leave my house is fine with me. I'll believe that nonsense when I see it. She still works with the other man, but I'm fairly certain they are through, for now anyway. Less like the apartment hunting prior, she's been half-heartedly looking for a job. She basically gave me the ILYBINILWY line. She said of course she will still always be there for me if I ever needed her and still wants to maybe hang out and be actively involved in my life. Just sounds like more attempts to cake eat to me. I think she's scared to be alone too. Her reasonings for the betrayal are she convinced herself that I never truly cared about her, and that's why she started relationships with other people, because they pretended to care about her and she thought it was genuine. That made her want to be with them and not me. She still feels attraction for the recent other man that she doesn't feel with me, but says she knows he would never be a stable or trusting relationship. She's trying to get over him. She can have him. He's a pathetic loser and I don't think she'll ever stop pining over him until she's actually with him and spends time with him outside the back of his pickup truck. It's going to be a massive adjustment after she goes. I know it's for the best. She's too broken to ever trust again and is far too passive a person to fix that. Everyone keeps telling me I should be excited to be starting over. I'm a great catch, blah blah. I'm personally dreading it. I guess I got too comfortable with the status quo and maybe that was part of the problem. I did not want to end the marriage, but the affairs were a deal breaker for me. And the more time that passes, the more of an affirmation that becomes in my mind. She didn't tell me anything I didn't already know. She was only brutally honest with me because I rejected the prior 100 times. She lied to me. I just wanted her to give me the respect I deserve and tell me what I already knew for my own sense of closure. I hate liars. In other news, she found a new job. She starts in a week, so she will no longer be working with the other man. Also, she has been applying to apartments and is working hard to be out by Jan. I'm hoping in a month's time I will finally be able to start my new life and find someone who deserves to have me for a partner. Update, she found an apartment about 15 minutes away. She will be out by January 1st for sure. In the span of a week, she's managed to land a new job and a place to live. Kind of surreal how much can change in 6 months. Now the hard part begins and I start to work on me. There are a ton of improvements I want to make. I feel like in order to become the person I want to be, it is going to be like climbing a steep mountain, but I'm going to try my best. Even though the WS tried to pull an exit affair on me twice and failed, it's going to be hard watching her move on. Just seems so senseless, but it's what she wanted. As far as I am concerned, I just dumped her before she could dump me. Now I can see the regret because she has no one to cling on to. Be careful what you wish for, I guess. The ex is still on track to move out January 1st. She's been furniture shopping, etc. In the meantime, we've been playing house for the kids' sake. They don't know she's moving out, though I suspect my oldest, who's 7, might have an idea. We were going to finally explain it to them later this week after Christmas. They are the last bad news to break and unfortunately the most difficult. I hope they accept and adjust to the new family dynamic without too much sadness. I'm going to miss not seeing them every day. That hurts the most. I've been getting along very well with the ex. If it wasn't for the giant elephant in the room, you wouldn't think anything was wrong. The fog has all but dissipated and I can clearly see she is a completely different person than she was in August during D-Day. The best way I can describe her back then was someone who was so self-absorbed in her selfish little fantasy that me and the kids didn't even exist to her. Almost like an extreme form of brainwashing. A coping mechanism so she didn't have to feel the guilt of what she was doing to us. I really do believe she is very remorseful that she is losing her family. I can see the sadness in her eyes, and the holidays have a way of reminding people how important family is. I think she is devastated that she ruined her family and everything she took for granted. She thanks me all the time for how unbelievably supportive I have been during the divorce and the whole transition process. She harbors no anger whatsoever that I broke things off with her, and she understandably knows why. She told me she holds out hope that maybe we can reconcile in the future. It would be so easy for me to say, let's work things out. In one sentence I could rug sweep the whole thing and that would be the end of it. She would jump at the opportunity and we could move on like nothing ever happened. I just can't bring myself to do it. I read people on this forum begging for advice on how to bring their spouse out of the fog and I pity them. I feel like I deserve better than a serial cheater. I would never feel like a real man knowing she slept with these guys behind my back and I forgave her for it. I'm 35 and I'm not getting any younger. If I want the best possible chance to get away from this broken woman, then now is the time to do it. I asked her was it worth it. Now she believes it wasn't. She never gave much thought to the consequences of her actions because like every cheater she thought I would never find out. So, the way she worked it out, I would take care of the real-life responsibilities for her and she would get to have her selfish affair behind my back. If things turned out well between them, I would be dumped. If they didn't, she could break it off and pretend nothing had ever happened. She gets to cake it and I would never know. The first one with her boyfriend fizzled out quickly. This second one with her boss, I caught her on. She got in pretty deep. Unfortunately, for her she was too stupid to realize she was being used by them. So destroyed her family for nothing, and I think that is the sorrow she feels. It was certainly nowhere to be found doing her 6-month affair. She didn't care if she was sleeping with guys behind her back because I wasn't supposed to find out. The fact that I would be upset about it therefore was a non-issue. She could cake eat to her delight and be a bad person because it's fun for her and she enjoys it plain and simple. I just can't be with a person who has that kind of mentality. If we got back together, she could pretend to be the perfect companion, but I know it would just be an act. While there are so many things I do like about her, I've seen her ugly side now and I want no part of it. I think there is a very good chance she could do it again. It would be a constant struggle with her demons not to, and I'm not going to live like that. I've always been a very logical person even at the expense of my emotions. I just know if I took her back, after what she did to me and our family, I would be resentful forever. I wouldn't even be surprised if I sought a revenge affair because of the built-up resentment. I don't want to be that guy. All I have left is my dignity and self-respect. She can never take those things away from me, and I'm sure as hell not going to throw them away to be some dormant cuckold for a serial cheater. I just don't believe people with that level of selfishness ever evolve. Yes, good people occasionally do bad things, but a serial cheater is selfishness personified. She's addicted to the constant attention-seeking and validation. Sure, she can pretend to be a changed person, but eventually temptation will rear its ugly head, and after all, what I don't know won't hurt me. Why do I need to deal with that? I know there are other people out there who are honest and have morals because I am one of them. If I ever took her back, it would be knowing full well that she'll probably cheat on me again. I'd like to think I can do better. From what I can tell, most of the guys she seems to attract are scumbags who quite frankly don't give a crap if she's married, let alone if she cheated and is now single. If she actually met a decent guy, then yeah, knowing her as well as I do, absolutely she would lie to him. Her lying nature is ingrained in her as a self-defense mechanism because she's afraid of confrontation. The question becomes, is it my business to set the record straight to this poor bastard? Because I want to know who my kids are around. I'm going to eventually have to meet him. So, me personally, I'd certainly like to know if I was dating a past serial cheater. Huge red flag in any decent guy's book. Old me, she loved me yesterday. I didn't comment and she follows up with, do you love me? I told her, I don't love what you did to me and I think about it every single day. Silence after that. It's very strange the way her mind works. If I professed my undying love for her right now, I know she would reciprocate and it would be unicorns and rainbows in her head. Instead, I'm telling her to leave, so she puts up this "it's for the best, we probably wouldn't work out 180 routine, which I know is complete crap. I can tell she's desperately waiting around for me to cave in. To be honest, the pre-cheated on BD would have a long time ago. He was such a nice guy and put up with a lot of garbage from her. She wants to be with me now, only after being duped, but if she believes I wouldn't reciprocate her affection, then she won't even try. Typical cheater-coward mentality. Just pretends like it doesn't bother her for fear of rejection. I hate games. Just tell me what the hell you want. So, what if you get rejected? At least you tried. Go big or go home. Not that I would take her back anyway. Update. So, I helped the ex get moved out. Probably shouldn't have, but I want to stay on good terms for the kids. Aside from her personal items, she took the living room set and the bedroom set. Small price to pay to keep the house, I guess. She was expecting some big production with the kids being upset that she wasn't going to be there. Honestly, they didn't really seem to care. During the affair, she spent a lot of time out of the house, and I think they kids are so used to it, it wasn't a big deal. I can see it really hurt her. When I thought they were just girls' night out, I used to tell her all the time how the kids would be crying wondering why mom was not home. She didn't care, she was too busy in Fantasyland. Now when she cares and wants everyone to miss her, it's too late. I have a lot to keep me busy with the house. It's not that much more than what I used to do. I think the other thing that bothers her is in her mind she was so convinced the house would fall apart without her. Like she was so indispensable in her mind. Now that she's waking up to the fact that we'll be fine without mommy, I think that irks her too. I guess she's realizing she's as easily replaceable as she thought I was. Other than her obviously being a serial cheater, here's a classic example of why marriage is breaking down. I lent the ex some tools so she could fix up her new apartment. I needed them back to fix my toilet. Here is the exchange that unfolds. Serial cheater, do you mind if I just go home tonight and not pick up the kids? I am feeling so crappy right now. I just want to go take a bath and go to bed. If you need the tools, I will drop them off. Me, I don't mind at all. Hope you feel better. If you could drop off the tools, that would be great. Serial cheater, okay, I'll drive all the way to your house to drop off tools. Even though I am sick. What the hell? Am I supposed to have empathy for you now? Like you had any for me during your affairs? If you don't want to bring the tools over because you're sick, then why don't you just say so? Why do you play these stupid mind games then say you tried to tell me? I'm not a mind reader and I'm sick and tired of trying to read between the lines. Just say what you mean. So glad I kicked her out. I just needed to vent. The point is, just like many other waywards, she claimed she communicated her dissatisfaction in our marriage. The problem is I don't speak crazy cheater. I speak English. Not that, that's remotely a justification, but she never communicated anything coherent to me. If there was anything, it was double talk and innuendo. Funny, however, how crystal clear she was though her text messages when she told the OM she wanted to screw him. It was our daughter's 5th birthday this past weekend. So, I ended up spending that day with my ex and our children. Inevitably, a long conversation ensues. A little background first. I've been doing well so far with the transition. I actually enjoy the time away from her and her drama. I've been working out, getting caught up on work and some TV shows I've been following. Fixing up the house, cleaning and just keeping busy. Between that and the kids, I got more than enough to occupy my time. So, we start to talk and the ex has an emotional breakdown and goes on to tell me what a hot mess she is. Apparently, she sobs uncontrollably daily at her apartment. She tells me how she's had a long time to reflect and realizes I wasn't a bad guy. That I'm actually an awesome person. She will never find someone like me again. She's afraid she's going to lose me and someone else will scoop me up. She sees I gave 110% for our family. I was her best friend and she didn't realize it. She misses interacting with me. She was selfish and horrible. She needs serious help. Etc. etc. I don't really say much during this. I tried to console her because I couldn't help feeling sorry for her. I just said that I was sorry it happened and wish she didn't do what she did. I told her she needed to work on herself like I was, and she says she can't work on herself because she's constantly depressed about the whole situation. I think it's hitting her hard how badly she screwed up. I think it hurts her how fine I am with everything. She's clearly still grieving the loss of the relationship and I'm in the acceptance phase now. I just don't see how I could possibly ever trust her again. She still chats with her toxic friends. I don't want to give her false hope, but I try to be nice so I can maintain a good relationship for the kids. For the purpose of full disclosure, she basically threw herself at me afterwards and I had a weak moment and slept with her. As far as I'm concerned, for me it changes nothing. For her, I think her long-term goal is for us to work things out. Honestly, I can say I don't really miss her so much as I miss the companionship of a woman in the house. I think if I found someone else, a good woman, I would truly be happy. I need to start working towards that goal. Technically, it was less than 30 days. I got it done so fast because I didn't waste my time and money going with the lawyer. I filled out all the paperwork up front, not just the petition. We agreed to the terms and had her sign everything in a one-shot deal so she couldn't change her mind later. Submitted it to the court with my filing fee August 20th and the judge signed it Sept 17. Done. Not bad considering I have 2 kids too. There was no waiting period or anything like that in my state either. If I had a magic wand and could fix her, then yeah, I would give her another chance. Fortunately, I have come to the conclusion that like the majority of cheaters out there, she is unfixable. That's why I'll never take her back. She cries to me about how badly she screwed up, how much she regrets everything, how she wants to do right thing, etc. However, since she has moved out 30 days ago, she has maintained contact with her toxic friends and had the OM sleeping over her apartment multiple times. So, trust me, I'm not stupid enough to ever believe she will change or that I could ever trust her. She's still engaging in lying and deceitful behavior. While in a way I still care about her and I'm sure that comes through in my postings, I know I need to find someone else. She will never change and she's a complete and utter lost cause. I've been trying to keep busy with the house, kids, and occasionally friends. It's kindly lonely sometimes when no one's around, and that's probably what bothers me the most. I haven't signed up for any dating sites yet. I guess I will soon. I'm not sure what else I could be doing. I do miss being in a relationship. Maybe that's my problem. I never used to be codependent, but I seem to have developed a codependency from being in my 12-year relationship, and that's why I feel like I have a big hole in my life at the moment. I redid my bedroom, and I'll be working on other parts as much as I can financially. I made twice as much as her, but losing that income does hurt. I used to play drums. Was going to buy a drum set and start back up. I have other things I want to do too. It's not that I'm bored or lack hobbies as much as being lonely that bothers me. Again, because I was so used to coming home to someone every day, and now I come home to an empty house sometimes. The whole point of her moving out, the way I pitched it at least, was for her to work on herself and become a better person. She has utterly failed in that regard. All her old habits have come back with a vengeance, and it just proves to me I was right to dump her. She's never going to do what it takes to change, and I can't trust her at all. Good ridden. I'm focusing all my energy into replacing her now. She's just a waste. I confronted her in the sense of basically saying to her, "What the hell are you doing?" I'm not married to her, so I really have no business objecting to what she does on her personal time as long as she doesn't bring that trash around my kids. She said she knew it was dumb to let him stay over, but he kept showing up, and she freaked when he asked for a key. Basically, he tried to move himself in. Other man and OMW haven't filed for divorce yet, but he hasn't been allowed back in the house. So now he was trying to use my ex for a place to stay. Best part was other man recommended they keep their relationship secret, lol. Gee, wonder why he would suggest that. The ex and other man have since broken up, whatever that means. I'm sure it's temporary. Ex got wind from a former coworker that other man was flirting with some 23-year-old at work, one of her former toxic friends, and even bought her tires while other man was staying with the ex. Ex was livid to say the least. Ex has also been going out with some 24-year-old. Mind you, she's 39 lately, so that's her new distraction. She claims they are just friends, but acknowledges he's already tried to put the moves on her, and more than likely he's just looking to pump and dump her. But she still looks forward to their meetups and even admits she kind of likes him, even though she realizes what 20-something would date someone old enough to be his mom with baggage. Really doesn't take much with her. Say some nice things, pretend to care, and her panties are all wet in no time. Pretty pathetic. I haven't spoken to her since November. I heard other man had dinner with OMW not long after, so I'm pretty sure OMW had no idea. I debated this repeatedly whether I should tell her, but I came to the same conclusion as you. I can't keep tabs on her man forever, and she knows full well already he's a lying cheat. So, at this point it's on her. She's already busted him 3 times on her own since I exposed. If she still wants to take him back, then she's a fool. Plus, it makes the ex miserable that they are still together, so why ruin that? Ex can enjoy the feeling of being plan B like she tried to make me out to be. It's been stepped up. She keeps asking me why I'm being cold to her. I just deflect the question. I'm doing my best impression of Mr. Spock whenever we interact. I just really don't want to hear about her drama anymore. It's all self-inflicted, and I'm sorry me and the kids have to deal with her crap. I'm still working on me. I will eventually look for someone new, but I'm not quite ready yet. All I know for certain is I'm 100% done with her. The rest we'll have to see what the fates have in store for me. Hopefully, I've paid my dues in the Psycho B department. She told me for months the last time she talked to him was October 12th. And the last thing you want to see when you pick your kids up from their mom's apartment is cum stains on the bedspread. Yeah, that happened. But I divorced her, so I really can't object, can I? It's what I wanted. So, she can go screw whoever she wants now, and technically so can I, and when I'm ready I will have other relationships too. I have accepted that, though it would be nice if she wasn't such a lying piece of trash. Update. A few days after I posted what was going on with the ex back in February, the OMW emailed me to see if there had been any contact between them. I guess OM went crawling back after my ex kicked him out. Well, she was completely clueless as usual, so I got to expose her husband again about his recent activities. She thanked me again repeatedly and told me she was just about to take him back. I'm hoping she learned her lesson, but my gut tells me probably not. In any event, she's not my problem anymore. Ex has been dating, which as far as I can tell consists of a weekly booty call at her place, with the 25-year-old. He's obviously some type of distraction for her, so she's not alone. I remind her she's just being used for a good time, and I can see she gets upset hearing it because she knows it's true, but the bottom line, the accurate story, is they use each other. I flat out told her the only reason he hangs out with her and tells her nice things is so he can get laid, and her response was, "So, all guys are like that." It's so sad that's her mentality. Since she has been kicked out, I have pulled a 180 to the extent I can with her. Every time she comes to my house to pick up the kids, she stinks of desperation. She has tried 3 to 4 times to try to get me to consider reconciliation. She tells me she wants her family back. She is almost 40, divorced, struggling financially, barely sees her kids, and has nothing to show for herself. it was the worst choice she ever made, that the relationship prior to the affair was fixable, and she clearly realizes now the relationship with the other man was a pure fantasy. The best part is she tells me she can't stand the thought of me being with someone else. Flabbergasted, I'm just like, but you're screwing another guy right now, so how you can have the nerve to be bothered if I'm with someone else? No response. The hypocrisy from her is never ending. I just tell her I'm hurting but I'm trying to heal and move on with my life. That I just want to find someone who I can spend my life with and be happy. And obviously, we're not going to be together. Upon hearing that, I could see her heart sink. Then at the end of the convo she says, I probably wouldn't take me back either. Probably the first truthful thing I've ever heard her say. She's still an attractive girl too, and I do still care to some degree, which is why the whole thing just sucks. As for me, I'm working on setting up my online profile now. Going to do the online dating thing and see what happens. Hopefully, it pans out. I was talking to a few girls I had met recently and both of them turned out to be married. But I got the whole sob story on how crappy and complicated their relationships were. The last one even seemed mad that I found out, since she didn't mention it beforehand, nor did she have her wedding ring on. What the hell? Of course, that pretty much killed it for me, since the whole affair thing left a very bad taste in my mouth for cheaters. I apparently have an uncanny ability to attract bored housewives. Seems like there are a ton of them out there ready to flirt with any guy. At least with online dating, it's safe to assume that most will be single. I don't check up on her anymore. Not since she left the house. I told her I knew she was hooking up with him and she did not deny it. With the smug look on her face when she walked in the door to get the kids, I knew she was sleeping with him. I agree with what you and other posters are saying. She seems to be getting worse without me around. I can't help her anymore. I was the only thing propping her up and she seems to lack the morals or self-respect to do the right thing on her own. I've been working out from home with free weights. Hard to go to a gym when it's just me and the kids. I'm going to start online dating, so hopefully it goes okay. Unfortunately, I've asked around and none of my friends know single people. Everyone's in their 30s seems to already be in a relationship. At this point, I'm just hurt that I was duped into marrying an immoral, selfish idiot like her. I was looking for a good woman with a good heart and I felt like I was conned. I pretty much got a dud and wasted a decade of my life. My only consolation prize is my 2 kids whom I absolutely adore. Update: I've been doing really well. Happiest I've probably been in a long time. Every day that passes I feel more like my old self again. Work's going well. I'm adjusting to my new routine being by myself and it's kind of awesome, not going to lie. Kids have kept me pretty occupied. Looking forward to meeting up with my close friends a few times this summer. Then working out like a fiend. Between all that, I've been really busy in a good way. I ended up downloading a dating app and went on about different 6 dates. I can't believe how easy it is to get dates and how many nice girls there are out there falling over themselves to find a decent guy like me. During that time frame I met a girl I am crazy about. We've been dating for about a month now and it's been nothing but awesome. I haven't felt this way about someone in a long time. The ex is still broken and I see her for the piece of crap she is now. She has the stank of desperation every time she comes around my house, and frankly I don't care at all what happens to her anymore. She did nothing but poison my soul, and divorcing her was the best decision I've ever made. About her right now, she's still hooking up with the 25-year-old cause she can't be alone. She pretends, I think even to herself, that it's more than what it really is. At the same time, every time she comes over my house to pick up or drop off the kids, she's super nice to me, like she wants to be my buddy, and throws me flirty looks. She just stinks of desperation and it's sad more than anything. Like has a lost puppy dog vibe to her. Hope she lives with that burden for the rest of her life. My conscience is clear. I feel like I just ditched a sack of bricks I've been carrying around for 8 years. The best part is my girlfriend is a total upgrade all around. Score. Need some advice. So, I went to my young daughter's ballet recital and the ex was there. Anyway, after the recital I told my daughter I was going to take her out to eat to celebrate her awesome performance. The next day at soccer practice I see my ex again. She tells me she was hurt yesterday that I didn't invite her to attend also. This woman still wants to play house even though we are divorced. I was basically like, no offense but we need some boundaries, and that would just confuse the kids. So, her way of retaliating to me was to introduce them to her rebound boyfriend. We had discussed prior only introducing the kids to serious relationships to avoid having a string of people in and out of their lives. Apparently, she sees a long-term prospect being an almost 40 years old dating a 25-year-old. Idiot. It's obvious she only did it to get back at me, since she knows the only thing I care about are the kids, and she had told me no more than a week ago she was going to wait until the end of the summer at least. Whatever, I know I have no say in the matter, but I just don't want my kids to get hurt if they get attached, cause this relationship she's in is a train wreck in the making. It's not if, it's when he dumps her. So that's the backstory. Now this is my question. We do pickups and drop-offs mostly at my house. I'm fairly sure this $$ clown was with them in the car when she went to drop them off. She was trying to ambush me. I wasn't home. She may attempt to do this again in the future. I do not want this tool bag even in my driveway. but I'm not sure how to communicate that because I know she's only doing it to try to get a rise out of me, and I don't want to give her the satisfaction. So, do I A. Tell her don't bring this guy around my house, which may give her some satisfaction that it got to me. B. Completely ignore it and just suck it up, which really annoys me that some douche is on my property. C. Propose from now on we meet in a neutral location, which is the same problem as item and doesn't mean he still won't be there. Some other option. How do I handle this? X. I really just don't want to be her friend or even pretend to be. I've never been good at hiding my disdain for people. If I don't like you, you can probably tell. I don't see my attitude ever changing. If she got hit by a bus tomorrow, I couldn't care any less. What makes me angry is the way she tries to use our kids as emotional pawns. She has no regard for their mental well-being. I don't like this boyfriend because he clearly doesn't give a crap about my kids. So no, I don't think I'd ever want to have ice cream with her or even someone like her. I don't know if that's a detachment issue as much as it is a not wanting to hang out with trashy people issue. Update. Been going to the gym a lot. Constantly sore from that, but in a good way. Busy at work, and between the kids and my girlfriend I don't have a lot of time for me. Finances are still tight because of only having one income, but I'm getting by okay. That should improve substantially next year when I get some bills paid off. I've been dating the same girl going on a year this May. We met through Tinder. It definitely has its ups and downs. Some of that is me being very guarded with my emotions because of getting burned by the ex. The other is her wanting to escalate the relationship faster than I would care to. She's head over heels with me and a bit on the needy side. I'm in no rush to get remarried and she doesn't want to be in a relationship if it's not going anywhere, so it's tough. Yes, I definitely will eventually want to settle down again, but after 10 years of marriage and nothing to show for it, I'm certainly going to take my time. I am hoping she can be patient. X turns 40 next month and is still with the 25-year-old boy toy, shockingly enough. He wasn't the OM, as far as I know, that ended. My kids don't seem to mind him and he seems harmless enough the few times our paths crossed, so whatever. It keeps her distracted and that's best for me. My girlfriend helped me set up strong boundaries with her and for now she seems to have accepted we are done. She tried to come after me for money 6 months ago but has no leg to stand on legally based on the paperwork. When I wrote up the divorce decree, I made sure it was highly in my favor. Thank God she's such a lazy idiot. It would cost her easily thousands. She doesn't have in legal fees to fight it. She lacks the will to bother putting the effort in much everything else in her life. So, the verbal compromise was, instead of 50-50, I would pay most of the kids' bills directly. In exchange, I don't have to give some cheater a dime of my money to spend on herself in the guise of being for the kids. The thought of doing that would make me sick to my stomach. At least I know my kids are solely benefiting from my money. They will get everything when I die anyway, so I consider it an advance on their future investment. My final point is this. Tinder, just like other crap, are whatever you make of them. All those sites have people looking to hook up and also people wanting to date. I did not go on there looking for a hookup. Neither did my girlfriend or any of the girls I went out on a date with. At least that's what they adamantly told me. I'm sure people do hook up there all the time, no doubt, just like the other sites I listed. All these dating sites do is introduce you to people. Nothing more. What you do after that is up to you. Just cause a girl is on Tinder doesn't mean I'm going to assume the worst about them. My personal experience on there was actually pretty good and I never really had a bad date. At worst, we didn't click and that was the end of it. So, whatever. Moving on. Tired of wondering what if. Been divorced for about a year and a half now. I've had this question eating away at me in the back of my mind since I found out about her affairs. What if one of my kids isn't mine? Could it be possible? I couldn't take it anymore. I bought a DNA test and mailed it out yesterday. I'll know in a week. In all honesty, my son is not exactly the spitting image of me, and my daughter, while she looks a lot more like me, was conceived potentially between affairs. So, both are suspect. X swore they were mine. What's the word of a serial cheat worth? Nothing. I don't know what I would do if I found out otherwise. Everyone I know has advised me not to do it. That it doesn't matter and I should let it go. I can't live a lie. I will not be played for an ignorant fool any longer. If I were to decide to raise another man's child, it will be knowingly. Time to find out how deep the rabbit hole really goes. Wish me luck. From day one, she trickles truth the hell out of me. I have no reason to believe this would be any different. She would never voluntarily tell me. I had no choice. If I found out otherwise, it's not like I'm going to knock on the guy's door and ask him to fill out a medical history questionnaire. I'm not even sure I would tell X I know right away. What if she tells this guy and all kinds of custody issues start up? It might be opening up a Pandora's box of problems for me. I just want to know the truth for me. I would also tell the children eventually. Makes me sick to think it could be both for all I know. OM may be completely clueless for all I know. That wasn't the only scenario I was thinking of. Aside from that, if I told her there was DNA evidence, she may try to use it as some type of leverage to withhold access of the child. While I have legal custody now, there's no guarantee she couldn't try to fight it later on out of spite or as a manipulation tactic. Regardless of whether it failed or not, it's more trouble that's easily avoidable. Again, I'm doing it for me and hoping that this issue can finally be put to rest. Years later and I feel like I'm still mopping up the mess she made. Ex came to my house 2 weeks ago to pick up the kids and told me she swears she saw the OM was following her on the highway. Must have recognized it easily from all the time she spent inside of it. Apparently, this freaked her out as she supposedly broke up with him over a year ago. Then she tells me, well, good thing I was coming here. Not really sure why, as I would have just slammed the door on her face if he showed up. Another update. I broke up with the GF after dating her for over a year. It was sad but needed to happen. There wasn't any long-term prospect in it. She was way too needy and we didn't get along. So, I'm single for now, going to take a break from dating and do me. I'm okay with the breakup. Kids are good, starting school in a few weeks. Still doing 50% shared custody with them. I actually see them more cause sometimes I work from home and I also get more time off. Ex is still pathetic. She's still a lousy parent, but she's getting more involved with them at least. We only discuss the kids and occasionally I have to reassert boundaries, but the co-parenting is working. Because I felt she should have been putting the needs of the kids first. At one point, she was attempting to utilize me as her private babysitter just so she'd go out on weekends. I had no problem watching them if she had a doctor's appointment, etc., but just because your time with the kids falls on a Friday night is not a valid excuse to ask the other parent to cover. We were supposed to split our time 50-50, but, in the beginning, it was more like 70-30. My children were not blind to this either and it felt horrible every time they would ask me, why do we see you a lot more than mom? In hindsight, it's no shock a cheater would still put their needs above all else. I will say to her credit, she doesn't do that much anymore. Perhaps the single life novelty has worn off. My ex, she has accepted it for quite some time now. She's still in the same crap apartment she moved into when she left. She can't afford anything more on her income anyway. Still has the same boyfriend who's 15 years younger than her since OM dumped her 3 years ago surprisingly. I can only assume he's a user. Far as I can tell, he moved in for financial reasons. He seems broke too. My kids like him, so I'd rather it be him than some jerk, I suppose. She looks older, has definitely gained 20 to 30 pounds, always wears makeup now, didn't before, and generally continues to pretend she's happy. I'm pretty curt with her, only dealing with her when absolutely necessary. My girlfriend says I should be nicer to her. Meh, I don't think so. Only good thing, I found out my son is mine. I am relieved. My comment. OP walked out of this alright. He learned his lesson the hard way. Good thing she's out of the house for good and OP found joy in dating other women. Things can look better on the other side. Look at this OP.